Good morning. So, in an earlier live stream, we talked about the fact that we've been asking folks for topics to address in our daily messages, partly because we want to make sure that what we're doing is providing valuable content to you, and also partly because we've been doing this for many, many months now, and we're running out of ideas. So, to be fully honest with you, we asked some folks this morning, and one of them said, you know what would be a good thing to talk about would be, what are you doing through COVID? What is helping you through COVID? Are you learning new things? Are you doing anything different? And that just kind of piqued our interest. I know there have been a lot of opportunities to learn new things in COVID or to do new things. Why? Well, because we've been prevented from doing the things we like to do, the things we used to do. We've been prevented from doing things the way we've always done them. I know, there's that wonderful phrase, but it's absolutely true. We're forced way outside our comfort zone, and we have to learn to adapt and to use the skills and gifts God gave us in new ways. Father, do you have any ideas about what we could tell God's people about that?
I guess maybe ask your own heart and head, is there an interest or a curiosity that heretofore in your life you have never been able to pursue or satisfy, and actually could you now find a couple hours a week to do? I mean, this might sound really mundane, Father, but just recently I was talking to Manny and Kristen McAtini, and Kristen was over the moon about the fact that she was given for her birthday a bread machine.
Which is near and dear to Father Chris's heart, because when we decided to launch Supper Song and Praise here at Epiphany, the very first thing he said was, and I'm buying a bread machine and making bread for every service. And he does, even in the COVID times.
2 loaves the last couple weeks even, because I've expanded my delivery route after the service to include, for instance, Debbie and Joseph. And once you get used to the bread, you got to have it, right?
It's good stuff.
And it's like I've been doing it for so many years that you'd be surprised. Again, this may not be your thing. You might think only a total nerd would find it interesting how much flaxseed you do or do not put into this week's loaf of bread. But you know what? You've got things like that in your life where there might be the littlest detail might really matter a lot to you. Might learn how to sew, for instance, or even if it's just basic.
And you might do it differently. For example, you've all seen these little beauties, right? Everybody has their mask. Well, this was made for me by a parishioner who is an amazing seamstress, but I'm willing to go out on a limb and say she had never before sewn a mask of this caliber and of this type, but she adapted really quickly. This is one of the very first masks I got after the pandemic hit. And so this is a situation where someone found a way to take a skill they already had and adapt it for life in COVID world. So that there's something that you can do.
I know that God gives us, if we take the minute to ask the question, it's like, have you seen this Facebook meme that it goes something like this generally, sort of, anybody out there, give me advice, anything you want. I don't know if you've read any of those threads, but there's some awfully good advice given. Often it's very specific, like cut your hair more often. Usually it's very loving and very instructive and a valuable exercise. So too with you. You can ask God or yourself or your friends, that's true. I do have 10 hours a week. I could be learning a new, or just having fun, entertaining myself, doing online how to learn to be a speaker class. For instance, there's tons of stuff on YouTube about how to be a public speaker, to learn public address. Might be something that people have been shy of their whole lives. Ironically, paradoxically, you could start chipping away at that monster during COVID when there's fewer opportunities to actually speak. But you could do under the foundational study of it.
And if, by some chance, that were something that you were interested in doing, they say that public speaking is one of the top 3 fears that the population has.
Absolutely.
We don't have that. Well, here's the deal. We both did.
Amen.
We learned to overcome it, and to get comfortable with it. You can do that too. And if you need motivation to say, well, if I were to do that, when or how would I ever make use of that? Aha, brothers and sisters, do we have an opportunity for you?
I know where this is
Because
going.
on Wednesday evenings at our supper song and praise, one of the highlights of our service together is someone sharing a personal message, a personal reflection. And we make the pulpit available to anyone who feels called to share that reflection of where God is active in their life. So COVID may be a great time for you to say, wow, I've always been afraid of public speaking, but maybe I could aim for something a couple of months hence and, as Father says, chip away a little bit at it and use this enforced home time to get myself a little more comfortable, and then maybe I could step out in faith and share my witness to the world. That could be what God is calling you to do, brothers and sisters.
And quite a few of the supper song and praise speakers have overcome huge fears. I'd say over half of them. There's been some element of like, I don't know if I can, but I'll try. And the huge victory that then comes with doing the talk and that sense of, I did it.
Exactly. In this parish of people who share stories, they give stories, they receive stories, this is a foundational part of who we are. So whether that's it or something else, whether you're making masks or you're learning to cook or you're making bread for the family, find something new during this COVID time to give you a reason to get out of bed in the morning. You'll be glad that you did.